by BNK FEARX. Now, as we move into game 2, we'll see what kind of draft we get here for the Soopers. Maybe that could be the first step to turning things around.
Exactly right. And a 17-match losing streak is a difficult thing to overcome, right? They have picked up a smattering of best-of-3 victories in Road to EWC and in the Kai'Sa Cup, things like this, but it's not the LCK. This is where they need to be finding that level of success. We'll see whether that is going to start here with a comeback victory in this series, or whether BNK FEARX are going to be the squad to get their first 2-0 in the Ryze group. There is the Orianna ban and the Poppy, so we are not really straying from where the bans were last time. Lock also taken away, but that is just going to be kind of a swap.
So, Lock, I think, is just going to fit in this spot pretty much every time, but usually it would be in this case for the team that's second pick, so they ban it earlier here. I am curious what this first pick is going to be here for DN SOOPers, because they opted for that, right? They chose that. What their game plan is, because oftentimes in my mind, in counter picks, you have a lot of agency to, for example, get the right top lane matchup, but also hold your flexes on your mages. That's a little bit less relevant when the Victor, the Syndra, and the Cassiopeia are all gone, but picks like Taliyah can still be in the mix, especially with a player like Clozer. So good on Taliyah, as he showcased recently again in the Kai'Sa Cup. So, see, Camille's gone. Camille's a great first pick champion. Lee Sin's a great first pick champion, unfortunately gone. Same with Cassiopeia. Bard being banned by the Soopers is also, I find, strange to me, just simply because I think deokdam, his Caitlyn Bard lanes have been some of his best, and they're not going to have that as an opportunity later on in this draft. I don't think that was going to be something that BNK were hoping to first pick. The Camille ban, I feel like, is not because of Bard. You know what I mean?
I do think that if you're banning Bard, then maybe you're looking for something like a Nautilus, like give Peter like the option to have some hard engage. Maybe an Alistar could be something they're looking for.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about,
whether he cares too much about it. But I imagine that that's what they're kind of looking for, to make sure that they can have easy engage options and keep the team fighting somewhat simple. As the Ryze is going to be picked up with the absence of the Cassiopeia, that feels like a better choice. And so Clozer going to be on that one to see whether they can dig themselves out of the hole with the blue man. Or the trench. Sorry, the trench. That's where they're digging out of. It's my bad.
The Anivia has been a classic response. We haven't seen it as much recently. I like Taliyah more because it's both a flex pick, but also gives you the ability to match rotations around the map. And Anivia just doesn't come online until later on in most of these drafts. So I do prefer the Taliyah quite a bit. Could lock Pantheon right now, because Pantheon's very high value across both rosters. And you're otherwise looking at like a Xin pick. I think Pantheon makes sense, and they're going to get it. And could be a support pick. This could be the bottom duo, and that's the scary thing here for the DN SOOPers right now. They have to keep that in mind. I don't think it will be, but it could be, and you have to think about your bottom duo as a result of that.
And the thing that I really love about this is the way BNK FEARX played around like global pressure and sort of cheating tempo around the map in game number 1. It was so beautifully done. You can do that really well with Weaver's Wall and with the Grand Starfall. And so back on track to get that one done. Clozer does have Realm Warp that can kind of counter it, but I don't think it's really going to be enough, especially with how fast-paced BNK FEARX have been playing.
You saw what they were able to do with Kellin's Shen, Stand United's, and now you've got 2 tools like that, not to mention, of course, teleports around the map. As the Nautilus you mentioned, with the Naafiri here, sets up somewhat of a pick comp potentially here for the DN SOOPers. So that is a nice amount of synergy they have here. And see what the answer is. Will they reveal a support pick as a response here, or will they keep that a little bit less known and then go grab a blind top pick and protect it in the second bans? I think those are the 2 choices that they really have here.
I wouldn't mind just an Ambessa or something like that, but instead, they are going to give away that the Pantheon is definitely going into the jungle and pick up the Alistar here as the response. Kellin, a bit notorious on this Alistar, but has had some fantastic games on it, especially more recently since those times, if you can remember back to 2023.
When your Pantheon's already in such a good spot with mid-jungle, you don't have to hide that. And you have counter pick, because they pick first pick. So you don't have to blind top here and protect it. You could just wait and see. And that is one of the cool parts about this. I don't think Taliyah Alistar is going to be played in the bottom lane, but you certainly can just grab whatever AD carry you want here as a response to the composition scene. The Ezreal is banned again.
Yeah, I imagine a Jhin ban here is pretty high on the list for the DN Soopers to try and like give a little bit of fighting power to that bottom lane. But we'll see what is going to be paired with this Alistar. We know that it's not really going to be a winning lane no matter what they do.
There's a lot of really strong picks here for BNK. Obviously, the Alistar is not going to be great at level 1, but could even go Misfortune in this draft because there's so much setup for it, as they want to give DuDu a more stable top lane matchup, is what it's looking like here with the Vayne ban they opt for. At least initially, they could still ban Jhin.
Yep. I think this is all about the Ambessa, Gnar, Renekton type trio.
Crazy
we'll which one they're going to be aiming for. Exactly right. Ambessa has been one of the most popular champions, was the most played or the most picked in the Kesper Cup over the last couple of weeks.
Banned.
There it goes.
So not a surprise to see that.
So I imagine now Clear can just lock the Gnar and kind of feel all right about it. DuDu will probably go for a Renekton or something like that as a response. But it doesn't really make you feel like, ooh, DN Soopers have checkmate or something like that, unless they go for something a bit weird towards that top side. See what this last ban is going to be. You can even just ban Gnar here. We have seen a bit of that as well. And it will be the Varus taken away.
They want Gnar, but now Clear can just take it. They don't have to counterpick for top lane. They can just take it away with all of these bans.
Yeah, and then you can pick for the best matchup you want in the bottom lane.
So this is so heavily indexing into I feel like such a small possibility, right, that they'll get their hands on the Gnar. Will be the Sivir that comes through here.
All right.
Perhaps just trying to deny that because, I mean, they already have the Alistar on their side, so, I mean, it's going to feel pretty free here.
It's a weird Sivir angle, I would say. That Gnar that you were talking about, maybe Clear just has an answer for it, you know, has an idea
Tristana,
about what he
maybe?
wants to be playing.
I mean, Sivir Tristana has a lot of late game damage.
That is true. Not a lot of tankiness, but they do have an Alistar. So you can really be frontline with that Unbreakable Will if you can time your fights correctly around
Feels
that
like
ultimate.
They're scared of something. They're like, this seems too easy. What is he going to pick? They wait all the way till the end of the time before they lock that one down. And deokdam is going to go Kai'Sa.
All right. Kai'Sa into Sivir. So you're not exactly going to win the wave push, but the amount of dive that is on this DN Soopers roster.
Who could have seen it coming?
Definitely not us, Wolf. Absolutely not. We've never seen Shu play ever.
She was like, that's right. He's watching his point. That's my thing. Everybody's doing it now. And so you ban the Varus and the Vayne, and then pick Gnar, which is the more conditional part of the engage setup for a Kai'Sa dive composition, the toughest part to pull off. You're playing Gnar, by the way, into the Pantheon and the eventual Weaver's Walls of the Taliyah. Well, they have so much setup for solo kills anyways, even without that help. And now you're also going to have to try to play Kai'Sa and get out of lane. I don't see it. There's too many things that can go wrong here for DN Soopers.
Yeah, and Clear can really be like the tennis master as well in a composition like this, right? Gnar wants to be bouncing forward, finding those big ultis. Naafiri wants to be setting up the ult in order to get all of those resets. You can just be buster shotted away from both of those abilities to deny any sort of usefulness moving into later stages of the game. Not only is Tristana very, very good in the lane against the Gnar, but you're also then in a great spot in later game team fights to play disengage and get everyone where you need them to be in order to make these fights work. I actually really like what BNK FEARX have done once again in Champion Select in this series. The DN Soopers well and truly on the back foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is going to be a very difficult time here for our team that are on such an incredible losing streak. But it's when your back's against the wall that it's time to fly. Let's see whether they can. All right, well, I mean, that was the right time for the fan chant to come out. They do get the flash out of the Alistar. So already that lane was going to be a little bit tough. That is going to continue to be so as he does go back. Should be able to get there
Raptor.
As the first lane is coming on through, as Raptor is on a ward.
All right, this is very awkward.
Oh, this is sneaky. Sharvel just waiting. Ward does go down, and Sharvel is spotted.
Can't one-shot those doggos with even with a charged Q at level 1.
Yep.
This is the worst. If you're a jungler, you know this feeling. It's so awkward. It's okay.
Oh man, Peter is just hitting anchor after anchor here in this bottom lane. Ricochets are flying on through and actually doing a lot of work as Taeyoon stacking this up. And I thought that was going to be an absolute disaster for BNK FEARX. It turned out that it's a little bit more even than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's pretty okay for Taeyoon. It does have exhaust as well if they wanted to try to really further anything out of that at level 1. Still losing a lot of health. As Raptor has level 2 advantage here.
Oh dear. Sharvel is just going to get stunned up. Does hit the level 2. But you can see Raptor with that full Q is going to get him down to 100 health, and Sharvel's just going to have to go back. This is bullying here from the more experienced LCK jungler.
He just walked up to his Raptors on vision and said, "This is a good matchup for me." Yeah. What are you going to do? And there was a late go over to the Krugs, concession Krugs.
DuDu is still at 0 CS. This wave is so massive that Clear is pushing forward, and he picks up the turret aggro, and down goes Sharvel. It's gorgeously played here by BNK FEARX. And yeah, this Naafiri, it's going to be a while before she's valuable.
So imagine all of the problems we talked about with the draft here for DNS. That, like, we didn't even talk about what could happen in the early jungle. We were talking about the lanes and also the team fighting later on in the comp.
Oh dear.
Speaking of lanes. We weren't talking about the fact that BNK were potentially going to, at 2 minutes into the game, remove a player from Summoner's Rift and turn into a 5v4 game. So it gets a little bit tougher now as well as we go back to this play.
Okay.
And he's just trying to, like, Gnar's begging for help. And Naafiri's like, I can't help anybody, I need help. And he dies. The kill goes over, by the way, to the Tristana.
Exactly. Explosive charge, I think, took it down. And I loved how they orchestrated it, right? Like, Clear had the health bar, and so therefore he goes in, tanks up the turret. Rocket Jump is so powerful at being able to get out of there whenever you need to.
So let's just say, to put it simply, I think Raptor looked at the draft, and the lane stayed there on the top side after 2 bans, and Tristana comes through, and he's like, well, we win top and jungle, and we win them at the same time.
Yep. They absolutely did. 700 gold the lead here for this Trist. That's absolutely crazy.
In a matchup that for DuDu is miserable right now. That's without the lead. With the lead, I mean, I hope we don't look at this top lane too much. Let's just say that. Look at the item. Picks up recurve already.
Oh, man. All of these sort of stats are always going to be a bit depressing for the DN Soopers, as the 0 in the front column is basically everything. Hepa Pulverize comes down onto Clozer, but he does manage to put Kellin in cow prison for a little moment. As Raptor is standing on a ward, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows about it. What is he going to do? Just leave the whole wave?
He's zoned away from this whole wave!
And also Krugs, by the way.
Oh,
like,
God.
Peter, please, I need a Ryze up here. I need everybody.
Clozer's coming, but Kellin and VicLa are going to get here first. The flash out of the way of the headbutt. And at least DuDu comes over for the scraps of that wave. But, I mean, everyone's getting involved, and they're still losing.
When you have such an inherent prio advantage and such a lead in an unfavorable matchup, it becomes an instant pressure point, right? And they're playing through Clear. So everyone on DNS is trying to do the overload principle you were talking about before. Where you're like, well, maybe we'll just show up with a lot of people and their pressure will actually then be relieved. But BNK are just like, no, there's literally no reason not to also have everyone up here and win the war of attrition. It's as if they just know they have more guns, more firepower. They're like, yeah, you can try to match us, but you also lose that. So, yeah, deokdam a little bit late to return to lane, but he will match the CS for now there on the bottom side. And that is, I mean, he's got a cull.
Yeah.
They're just going to have to hunker down, but it's a bad time.
It's certainly not feeling like there are many positives.
I knew DNS was going to have a rough second half of the season. Well, we all did, I think, right? They can't magically fix everything. We were hoping to see a little bit more signs of life, but this isn't about DNS as much as it's about the draft and how good BNK have played both early games here through Raptor.
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't expecting this level of play out of BNK FEARX after what we've seen already from them in the Kesper Cup. Just shows that the LCK is a different tournament. They have locked in, especially for this series, trying to make sure that they can stay near the top of this Ryze group. Remember, it's do or die. You really need top 3. Otherwise, it all just falls apart and your whole year ends very, very quickly. Taeyoon and Kellin here just getting the push out here in this bottom lane. Things very, very even, and when it's a Sivir and she's going extraordinarily even in lane, you know that you're feeling pretty good about it. Although I guess a Kai'Sa is not exactly going to be hard winning in the early levels either. Raptor now going to get Hex flashed on here by Peter, and the flash forward from Clozer. They might be able to lock down this kill. The Aegis did come on through as now Sharvel is going to be able to get over that wall and make sure that this Pantheon is going down. So an answering kill here finally for the DN Soopers.
And this is Peter outpacing Kellin on this one to give them the numbers advantage. So this time, the match isn't there for BNK, and it is a crisp setup for the side of the DN Soopers. And a kill goes over to Clozer, so they get one lane with an advantage out of this. So definitely a big bounce back, but the woes will continue elsewhere.
Yeah, deokdam taking a lot of damage here. Peter is able to offer a really nice re-engage. Remember, Kellin doesn't have the ulti just yet, so that damage is going to stick a little bit more than it otherwise would. Good exhaust here onto DuDu to keep Clear alive, who's rocket jumping in, trying to utilize that summoner spell. As he has stacked up that lethal tempo, was starting to do a bunch of work, but now DuDu, oh, he gets buster shotted back and isn't going to be able to finish off that kill. The flash comes through as the traded ultimate comes on down, but now the Realm Warp is going to bring a Doggo and a Ryze towards his top lane, and it's a solo kill for DuDu as the assists are denied.
Well, I think there's a lot going on in that play there from Clear. He got super greedy and tried to get a little cute with it. I think initially when he actually rocket jumped forward there, he wanted to get the flash out of DuDu because he was like, oh, he probably thinks Raptor hit 6 and this is about to be a kill and he's going to ult over. But that was not actually, in fact, the case. We're going to go way back to this catch here by Peter, where they had control vision, and Kellin was not here. But on the top side, he decided, like, okay, I'm going to try to get his flash with that hop forward here, because he exhausts initially. And it makes this hop happen. You'll see it in just a second here. And I think he was hoping DuDu would flash there, and that would be the end of it. But instead, DuDu just is like, no, I'm still Mega. I'm fine here. I don't think your Pantheon is coming. And it actually buys enough time for the Realm Warp to come up. The Buster Shot pushes DuDu away, but isn't enough to kill. And now Clear is just up a creek without a paddle here and just ultimately will get taken out. They do, of course, commit the Realm Warp for this, but it's well worth it.
Well, we've got another Pulverize coming on in, as Kellin is likely to just die. There is the cow going down, but the bounce on in from Clear, Goomba stomping everyone, gets the first reset, and the Pantheon is on a double kill now. Taeyoon is just racing forward, grabs his kill, and that is 3 on the floor already. BNK FEARX, I mean, it was a little bit of a rough time, but that time is now over, and deokdam is also going to be taken out. Threads the volleys beautifully. That is 4 kills for 1.
So the good news was they killed the Tristana. The bad news was everything that happened after that, and I'm not entirely sure how that all broke out because we came into it kind of in the middle of Raptor cutting people's heads off, or impaling them, I suppose, in this case, on the Pantheon. As Clozer gets caught initially here by Kellin, and they just, I mean, it's ricochet damage coming through. This is an amazing follow-up. As they try to shut Clear out of this, but he gets the reset and gets away, and now Sharvel's too far forward. And it's just an early great fight here for Taeyoon. Like, he's doing so much damage because he's set up so well. DNS tried to pull the trigger on this one. It backfires in a massive way. And man, we're still in the early game. Pantheon early does a ton of damage.
He really does. And Clear, once he's done with his Kraken Slayer or whatever he's building first, I want him to build a Jack Shows or something like that, man. Like, this Tristana in the front line, he was tanking up so well. It was kind of crazy. He gets himself the rocket jump, gets himself out of there.
When you look at all the damage they have in this fight, Tristana plus Sivir plus Pantheon early game damage, it's just too much damage for you to be in range of all of that.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, the woes for DNS continue. It looked like they were on the up just a little bit. You know, after that earlier play, managing to grab that kill for DuDu onto Clear. But now DuDu's wave is in a really awkward spot. Explosive charge comes in. There's a Grand Starfall as DuDu does go the correct direction. The flash forward from Clear here as the Realm Warp is set up to get the Gnar out. That's gorgeously done.
Clean.
They do get DuDu out of there.
But I mean, he's still got all the same problems. He's still not getting that wave. He's still super far away, but at least he doesn't die. This time the Pantheon comes. I think Clear flashed there because his exhaust was like 3 seconds away, so he was hoping he was going to then be in exhaust range to catch him there, but the Realm Warp ruined all of his plans. As Clear has had such a huge advantage, hasn't really been able to turn it into the big kills he's been looking for there on the top side outside of the initial one that did go through in the early 2v2.
Yeah,
but there's the Kraken Slayer you were talking about.
Yeah, one item is going to be pretty big here for Clear, who is 20 CS up and feeling very, very good about how this game is going right now. 600 gold isn't the end of the world, but 800 gold is getting close to that as Taeyoon has a gigantic lead. And deokdam, yeah, not going to be really standing up to this Sivir, who can very freely clear out any sort of wave almost instantly. And Yuntal already complete. Just, you know, a bunch of random stuff here from deokdam. How is he supposed to use 2 bows and arrows, you know? Like, that's impossible. That's not a dual-wield weapon, Wolf. Yeah. I haven't even seen that in, like, a Turok game before.
Ah, Turok. Classic.
I feel like weird stuff happens in that series of games.
It's weirdly cool, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. I respect it for what it is. Okay, there's an ulti coming on through from Sharvel. VicLa tried to catch it, but it does not quite work out there. So the Taliyah will be taken out. Kellin now in a little bit of trouble, but the resets are coming on in for this doggo. Raptor not going to be deterred from his Brambleback. Does manage to take that one down, but the first Drake looks to be taken here by the DN Soopers, with Clear taking down a bunch of plates in this top lane.
Clear doesn't have his role quest completed, so he doesn't have his teleport, so he can't join the fight. It's a numbers game here for DNS. It's a bit of a Hail Mary, but like the last one Peter set up, you know, it works out.
Okay. You don't need to wait anymore.
No,
it's fine. It's over. As the Boomerang Blade actually did a whole bunch of work here towards DNS, so that's going to stop them from pushing further in. Taeyoon at full health. It's going to be absolutely fine. Kellin just going to go back. So it's that health bar.
It's a small win, right? It's something. We're starting to pick up a few more kills. The draft itself and the spikes that are being reached really fast here, though, for BNK across the board are the bigger problem. It's like, oh, Cole's about to cash in for deokdam. It's about to cash in for Taeyoon as well.
Yeah.
The Tristana has still a lot of power in this top lane matchup. Now has teleport with the role quest completed. And what do you do as Sharvel in this case? Like, where do you go? Where's your, okay, I got to patch holes everywhere. Where are we going? Where are we dropping?
Well, I think you just get a hole patch kit and you just go to the closest place and start patching. And Clozer's going to flash into the wall. And honestly, it feels like DNS as a team have kind of flashed into a wall this series.
Do you guys remember there was a player on Afrika? Hold on, we're going to have a little bit
Kane?
of action. Well, that was that one. I'm talking about perhaps a little bit lesser, a little bit more indie player, okay?
Okay.
Speaking of Bang, his name was Moham, and he had bangs over his eyes.
Who did he just join in the LPL? I'm trying to remember. All right, well, we have a bit of a fight. He has recently moved over. It's okay. Here's a little bit of an option. Pulverize onto 2. Down goes Peter, but these health bars are getting lower. deokdam, will he find a killer instinct angle? That's the question. The explosive charge not going to quite kill, but gets pretty dang close. As Taeyoon just not even interested in that fight, is just going to be hanging out in this mid lane. VicLa taking a lot of damage. There is the Gnar, but the flash gets him out of the way. Flash out of the way at the seismic shove as well, as we are running out of those flash buttons. And Sharvel going to have to bounce his way out of there. Not a whole lot of kills, but it is still BNK FEARX with control of the map.
I bring this Moham situation up because DNS was playing today in honor of the ex-Afrika sub player. I told the makeup people to give me the Moham today, right? I've got my bangs.
That was your look.
Yeah, I've got my bangs. You guys might have seen it earlier in my eyes here. Now, if you are a DNS fan this season, last year, and also in this team fight, unfortunately, where they're trying to pull the trigger here, deokdam isn't here early, and they're going in the meat grinder of this Tristana with Kraken Slayer. You want to do the Moham, which is to put any part of your hair over your eyes that you have, brush it over your face. If you got long hair, just put, you know, Degon's got 2 strands of long hair. You might actually be able to make like a little bandana over his eyes, a little blindfold. You got to do the Moham. Just don't watch this game. Don't watch this season.
I
just don't do it. Moham had it right. He knew early.
He did. Hopefully on Weibo he's going to get a haircut and things are going to work out. Thanks Orcs for the update. Couldn't quite remember which team he joined, but there it is. He's on Weibo Gaming now. It's okay. BNK FEARX, they are going to have their hair out of their eyes. They are just very, very happily looking at a Summoner's Rift that belongs to them at this point in time. VicLa is in fact building walls and missing seismic shoves, so maybe he does need to just move the hair out of the way just a little. But the Rift Herald is still going to be taken here by Raptor. It's a 3,000 gold lead.
I mean, if you're a BNK fan right now, as it turns out, shave your head. You know?
Oh, no.
Get contact lenses, you know, get LASIK. No, just take a good look at it.
Pretend you're joining the military or something like that, you know. As, all right, VicLa could be in a little bit of trouble here. Throws Clozer around. Depth charge comes in. Decent combo there from Peter, and Taliyah is going to fall down. VicLa didn't have a lot of options in that moment.
Yeah, second time was the charm there on the Ryze push there in the bottom lane. as this clear problem hasn't yet been solved. And Clozer, you know, he was the one who was able to help make that play topside there, picked up a kill early. He's been able to side lane a lot. He has a huge farm lead, and he is ahead. Is clear.
Yep, able to answer the hop crush with a rocket jump.
4 people went topside for that, and it did not.
Hey, they got the W on cooldown. Okay, Wolf.
Good point.
Yeah, see?
Fair,
you thought that it was for nothing, but actually, it's for, you know, a few seconds.
The Ryze on the other side, still up 30 farms, still the only real goal lead in this game. He wasn't touched. He wasn't up there with everybody else. He didn't have real morph.
I mean, he killed VicLa like a little bit ago.
Yeah.
There you go. There's something.
They also did delay the kill on this turret, which is value 0, as the board says when you kill it on this patch.
Yeah.
But
I thought we were just never going to mention that.
no, I know. Well, someone mentioned it. Yeah, I think Ox mentioned it briefly.
I guess we didn't talk about not mentioning, but I thought that was because we were busy not mentioning it.
Yeah, it's a little floating number, floating value thing. The floating value in this game for BNK is actually smaller than you might expect at 2.7K. Flash coming back up here for Raptor. They have Hextech Dragon on the mind. It is a late second dragon, unlike last game where they speed ran.
They really did.
And it'll be their first dragon of the game if they do get it. They're going to use the Herald here to take out this bottom turret. There's no other outers on the map.
This is going to give them so much control of the map as well. I don't think it's going to be realistic for the DN Soopers to get over towards contesting this Hextech Dragon.
They're kind of like, you cleared out my stock. I don't really have anything left for you.
Yeah. Well, Pulverize is going to catch Sharvel on the front flip. He's going to have to flash, but the exhaust comes down as well. Shelly gets a double charge. And, yeah, Peter's going to get flung back towards the waiting boomerangs of Taeyoon. Takes a whole bunch of damage there. DuDu is at least spending some spare time in this top lane, taking out the first turret of the game for the DN Soopers. That might be able to get them a little bit of gold respite.
Do we get double Ocean?
We'll see. It is possible. I'm expecting an Infernal Soul this game.
Okay.
I don't know why.
The reason I asked is because my expectation...
it is! Yeah. Look at you, Wolf.
I had a feeling. I was going to mention it because my expectation, not about Dragon Soul, is that we will not see a soul this game.
Oh.
You know, with 1 Drake apiece at 18.5 minutes, I think it's just not going to really be the big thing.
Well, it's definitely not going to be the big thing. I think we might fight over some of them because that's what we like to do, fighting over dragons. But yeah, if we make it like another, what, we need 15 minutes approximately? Yeah. 14 and a half? Yeah, that's going to be a rough one. That's assuming we take the Drakes on spawn as well. So it's probably longer than that.
Tristana pushing with a Sivir, controlling waves in the mid lane. See how long DNS can last. Now, if they do get to a game state here where they have a team fight where deokdam can get back in this one, he has a full item down right now. Well, I mean, about like 3/4 of an item down. He's got a pickaxe.
Yeah.
If he can get to one great team fight, you know, Peter finds the right target, Sharvel's popping off there, Kai'Sa gets triple kill. Maybe we get a soul, and maybe then we could see DNS win this game as
Killer Instinct. deokdam needs to avoid a seismic shove, but instead he just flashes towards VicLa, does avoid the seismic shove, and now VicLa's going to try and wall his way out, and you know what? He'll be successful! Oh man, they cannot catch a break. Clear is going to kill the doggo here in the tri-brush.
I think that's one of the first times ever caster cursed a player who wasn't doing well. I was like, look, deokdam, maybe he could get back in this one.
And he looked like he could, Wolf!
And then he looked like he was going to get back in it, but he unfortunately did not get back in it, as this is Sharvel getting caught here. Kellin denies him for getting over the wall, and Raptor's like, ooh, any bonus on the top side does, of course, redirect as he realizes he cannot alone chase down that Gnar. But Sharvel is the casualty here. Clear picks up another kill on this Tristana.
I'm frustrated, man. I'm frustrated that VicLa survived. He shouldn't have survived that. And Clozer was almost able to pick him off the wall as well, but he couldn't. Oh.
It was super close.
All right, well, I'm going to have to try and put that from my mind. As Kellin, he does find Clozer and Peter here. There's a blast cone, but he gets caught out of the air by Peter. That was kind of beautifully done. But the Unbreakable Will just buys all the time that Kellin could ever want, and he's able to walk his way out. Oh, Voids. Wow, how did Raptor avoid that? That went underneath his shield, I think. Like between his shield and his body. That's where the Void Seeker
was.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting little interaction there. Clozer's Rod of Ages has reached its aging point. Is that what we call it?
Aging point?
I think it's actually just called transformation point. Right?
Yeah, well, I've never really thought of giving it a name, to be honest. Yeah, well, but I think we can go with aging point. Yeah, I think that's
it's
great.
about to age.
When would you say my aging point is, Wolf?
When
will I be considered a grown-up?
In 10 minutes. Just like Rod of Ages.
Ah, it's just like Rod of Ages.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, is that like every 10 minutes?
It's 10 minutes right after that.
Ah, wow.
Yep.
Oh, I've been wasting my life. Okay, everyone in chat, can you please just ask when you're going to grow up? Because then we'll give you that 10-minute timer.
You put a close eye on the timestamp in the chat.
Yeah.
Then you can really know exactly when.
And theoretically, we could all grow up together or something. All right. It's
I'm never going to ask. I'm Peter Panning this whole conversation.
I was going to say, like, I kind of wish, I kind of regret it, you know? Like, what's it going to mean when I become an adult? Oh, I don't even know. All right, 3.6K is the advantage here for BNK FEARX. There is a Lord Dom's picked up second here for Clear, which is kind of crazy, but DuDu is representing a fair bit of armor already in this game, and so it does kind of make some sense.
He's like, I just want to keep giving
as well.
DuDu a hard time the whole game.
Yep, and honestly, who could blame him? It's a good idea. The Raptor POM, by the way, is, I think it's locked in.
I think I locked it in at level 1 for him when he came over to Sharvel's
yeah, when he removed the dog from the game, I think is what kind of happened there. Sharvel is going to be able to remove himself from this position. That was definitely good. As Raptor trying to get the stun onto DuDu, but he hops beforehand. So we'll be able to keep himself alive. Still, turret does go down, and this is what Tristana loves to do. She's drawing beads, right, level 15, so that passive is stacking up the range. And yeah, Clozer, he's parked himself in a side lane. This is kind of what he did against the Bros as well, where he's just making money elsewhere. The problem is the game is just kind of falling apart, and he's going to get punted around a bit and does manage to flash away, but that is both summoners invested just for some plates in the top lane.
Yeah, Clozer's just like in that game against Bro. I mean, he actually ended up making a ton of impact on the Taliyah after he hit in side lanes and got a ton of money. In this game, he's basically trying to not only kind of absolve himself of all blame of what's going on in this game,
yeah,
but B, getting a lot of money, has level 16 around the corner on this Ryze, you know, is looking to maybe be able to actualize if this game goes on a few more minutes where they'll have any relevant team fights, but it's looking a little tough right now. It's only the second dragon here for BNK. Like we said, you know, or at least I said, not an expectation of an impactful soul situation here, but means that Clozer has some extra time, right? deokdam is very far behind, which is the issue. It's not like deokdam's going to farm it up and scale up and be a crazy scaling threat later on. He needs agency, he needs setup from his teammates. The randoms would maybe help DuDu get into a position where he could actually Gnar some people into a wall.
Yep, I do think that like DuDu and Peter have the tools, you know, to get deokdam into a fight, you know, maybe start some resets for Sharvel, something like that. But it's going to take a little bit more than what they've been showing us so far.
It's the comp and the tempo that's bigger than the gold lead. If you look at the 3,500 gold lead, like that, we haven't really touched on the number that much. And IE is done now for Taeyoon. It's these things that are bigger. The IE, the vision, lack of vision rather, the lack of agency for this pseudo dive comp with the Kai'Sa, that speaks bigger volumes than the goal, which is why we're basically casting this entire game like it's an obituary rather than DNS have a chance to get back into it. There is a chance if mistakes are made. Speaking of mistakes made...
Oh, goodness. Yeah, DuDu is going to be pushed away here. Taeyoon, with his newly built Infinity Edge you just mentioned, is able to do so much damage here. Raptor unable to find the Q, and the flash out from Sharvel will get him out of there somewhat, but Clear didn't get the explosive... Oh, hasn't charged the explosive charge, but there's the kill, and no real escape here from the Tristana. And it should be, because there's now no smite on the map. Clozer's ready to actualize, though, Wolf. We are actually ready to game.
That's what he's been spending this whole game doing. I remember when Actualizer first came out, Faker was in a game state like this and was able to farm up to Actualizer and carried the last team fight and made a comeback happen on Ryze. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen for Clozer here, but he's going to have to try it. DuDu TP top, but they have no vision. Kellin's wrapping around.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. He does manage to jump forward, pick up the kill onto DuDu. Oh, yeah, no, I think he's theoreticalizing. It's not an actualize this time around, Wolf, because there's not enough players on the map here for DNS to contest.
Maybe they can get this mid turret in exchange here with this cannon wave, but even that is out of reach.
Oh, dear. Well, there's a nice purple buff here for BNK FEARX. And they move to a 5.4 thousand gold advantage. Inner turrets, a couple of them left available here, so BNK can even further the coffers.
And we've seen a lot of games on this patch where the gold lead is like 9,000, 10,000 at 26 minutes, and the game is completely done. Part of the reason why the gold is so even here is this is just DuDu trying to be relatively impactful in any sort of way and try to be a living ward here to try to set information. They don't have a jungler. There's no steal. Is that like A, Clozer farmed a ton and actually has a gold lead in this game, and B, the gold is spread between everyone. Like, everyone's ahead, but it's not like one person is the problem that could be solved by DNS. They solve every problem. It's this late game Sivir, late game Tristana. With Baron and 3 grubs, these turrets are just not going to last.
I also think that Clear went back and bought Naafiri, like, just straight up after the Lord Dom, so he is very, very scary on this Tristana. DuDu does get headbutt pulverized. Now Sharvel looking for a bit of a flank angle, but is spotted on the control ward. BNK all grouped up, just trying to work out which part of this fork to pick off, and it's going to be Sharvel that draws that short straw. And the rest of them now move over. It's another kill onto the jungler. It's another opportunity to go for even more in this game. There's still a minute and a half on the Drake. Probably turrets is what they're going to be looking for, but now Kellin turns it into a 3-man pulverize, and Raptor wraps around, finds the option. It's a double for Taeyoon. VicLa flashes forward. DuDu finds himself in the death chamber yet again, and headbutt pulve is going to connect onto Clozer in the backline. It's a wipe, and BNK FEARX will be picking up their first 2-0 here of the LCK for this round.
Round 3 starting off on great footing here for BNK FEARX as they take this Nexus out here just about 15 seconds shy of 28 minutes in an extremely dominant game. And I think a lot of this came down to draft, but Raptor just took over with the agency he was given in draft. And sure, the first pick, Ryze, was the least of their worries.